We are live. Second, welcoming you to the lunch of our official tea time. Yay, where's your tea, Michael?
Good afternoon to all on this beautiful start of November. Cheers.
Hear us, welcome to this exciting, finally starting this chant. Hi, Mariam. So much love. Do you have your tea, sweetheart? Is your tea ready with us to join us? We really want you to grab your tea. Come for this short duration that we'll be together. We really want you to do. Is it a bit choppy, huh? Okay. Let's see. Thank you for sharing that. Let's check our internet connection. Our internet connection is on. Can you hear us, Mariam, really well? Can you just check in? It's flowing. Let's see. Can you tell me if you can hear us well? Or is it just going in and out? We just love to be able to get a feedback on that. We're hearing our audio is up, microphone is up. Microphone, yep, the microphone is on, volume is up. We just love knowledge and strength. What does yours say?
Mine says
Yogi tea. What is it?
Mine says the beauty of the soul is constant, continuous, and endless.
I love that.
Yeah, beautiful.
So we're just, it's a better now, but it's just we see it coming in straight, so I don't quite know what's going on with that, but we'll let it flow and see if we can probably once it's on video it will show up. So we're welcoming everybody to this tea time with Michael and I. I felt guided to put this together for a number of reasons, because I feel like Fridays are a powerful energy that's connected to Venus. Venus is one of the ruling planets on Earth that is helping with the Christ energy here. And it's a very powerful ninth dimensional frequency. And also, the Venus Friday is a very feminine energy. And that feminine energy is so beautiful to hold the vibration. And just so that together we can just sit down. Middle of the day, we're so busy usually. And just be able to have this space where we can really sit in our hearts, relax back with tea. And over tea, I feel there's an art with tea, because it lets you relax. There's so much wisdom that comes with tea, and one day I know I'll open my tea lounge. I'm so excited to do this, because when we can sit with tea, put our feet up like my grandmother used to say, and just allow that hot temperature to cool down, we get to witness a shift, right? And we get to experience that initial contact with it, and staying in this moment where all these thoughts and all these emotions, all these things are within us, then we can just face them. And it is an art of meditation, and we can just be in the seat of the observer. And I feel when we're very cut off with our everyday life, sometimes we don't have enough time to just be with the beloved, the being that we are. So we're very thankful for those of you who are joining us. We're starting it today. And for me, it's a very important day, Michael, as you already know, because today being also the election day, this energy in November was very important for this mastery year, this mastery month in a mastery year. And again, we are in the number two, Friday being in number 2, which is all about relations, the in and out, the up and down, the everything dark and light, everything coming into the center of it. And also this Atlantean energy from 12,500 years ago, the fall of it from last 12,500 years ago to today, where the high priests and the priestess came together to decide where some of the civilization, the beings will go, whether they will go to North America, South America, Middle East, Australia, North America, Antarctica. So a lot was moved around. So today I feel it's just a very special day, especially yesterday experiencing that Atlantean being speak through me and just being on this side. And I'm being particularly very grateful that I'm actually here this morning after being electrocuted by literally, some of you that may have seen this morning, I am, what you can see, this is a 7-sided crystal pyramid that I bought in Brazil on 12/21, 2000, 3 years ago, when I was in Brazil doing the planetary work at near the Temple of Good in Brasilia. This particular vision of the Temple of Divine was given to me, these 7 temples to be created on earth. So for some reason, after this transformation period, these past 2.5 weeks that I'm now on the other side of it, somehow I felt guided to put this on my flower of life. So when I plugged this into the wall, and as soon as it was maybe in the wall for 3 minutes while you were taking the shower, as soon as I placed it, I came to unplug it. There was this literally like this size of ball of light lit up, and electricity traveled through my right hand, and I felt it in my teeth and my heart, and the plug came out. And I ran in the shower and told you, Michael, I just got shocked. And I was kind of laughing because I couldn't believe what just took place. This thing could have caught on fire, but I'm very aware something magical happened, because it was like an incredible jolt of resetting. And in the prayer this morning, when I said and I asked the team above, can you tell me what that was? And it was so beautiful when they show me what my template has become. It's literally become this, both upside and down, and they're the 7 rays of light that are moving through. I'm very grateful to be sitting here, because you never know what happens the next day. But it just going off, what if you would have come out of the shower, you would have seen me on the floor, like I said, like this, and like fire? Or like, what would have done seriously?
Well, I think it would have been very shocking, number one. I mean, I know when you first came in, you said, something really strange happened. So I understand, like, when I'm living with you, nothing really is strange anymore. Everything is a new awakening, and a new opportunity just to accept the abnormal as beautiful. But I mean,
but on a serious note.
Yeah, but on a serious note, obviously, it would have been extremely disheartening and sad and shocking, and sad to see you out, fried on the floor, thinking like, what did you just do? Because I know that sometimes when I turn my back, there's certain things that, you're just immensely charged of, into what you really love and what you do. So of course it'd been sad and it'd been horrific.
No, but seriously, like that put things in perspective. Like, wow, like look at that.
Yeah, well,
it's a start of our live stream, and then YouTube stream, and then I'm dead.
Yeah, well, you're not really dead. No, I mean, I'm not. I for me, if I would have saw you, I would believe that maybe you just left your body for an experienced amount of time, so that you could go to the heavens, meet with your guards and guardians, get reshifted, and maybe do what I've been asking all along, is just have a reset of your body. Because one part, I feel this energy that came through was a reset, not only for you, but I feel like it was also a reset for me, because you did ask me, like, what would happen if that happened? And immediately, before I even went there, I just thought of life and death, of how grateful we are to live each moment. In each moment, we may sometimes take for granted that you never know when a tree may come down and hit your car, or you get electrocuted, or just if this is your last day of life. So of course, we were, you know, a little more
we're laughing about it a little
but
bit.
I feel like it does take a sense of gratitude and appreciation of how we get to celebrate each day, each moment. But obviously, I mean, like any person, anyone that you know would be deeply in love with, you'd be heartbroken and you'd be sad and you just sit there and be in disbelief, call 911 and see what's happened. For me, I think I would just go into the direct emergency approach, but then call upon the angels and then call upon all the levels, because what I have noticed in these times are we do have a very protective energy around us, and I find
I did feel that, but it was I did feel that, Michael.
Yeah. And I feel there's been times when you have been in a sense of emergency, or there has been a level of distress which for all of us to call upon the angels, call upon our guides, and really like call upon them as we know and believe in them, they'll come right here and help us. For me, and as you got the message in prayer, but before the message in prayer, I really felt that, when I think of a shock, when I even like visualize when I watch Doctor Strange, like when someone's in a heart attack and you place that and you do a shock, it's an electric jolt to your
it's all, electric
to a shock to all your systems, your central nervous system, your autonomic systems.
Because I still feel something right here.
So
electromagnetic.
In that, I find that as strange as it is, it was something that jolted or even created an awakening, because this week has been an extraordinary week to see the transformations that I'm happy to talk about, of just watching you and seeing each day of what you've been going through, and even asking you, we've come through 6 countries, we've traveled, like coming back, how was it when you came back, not only to get food poisoning on the plane, but then right afterwards to be knocked down for 2 weeks? We've spoken about it, but deeply, what was it like for these 2 weeks for you to really go through something that I don't think it's probably been a couple of years since you've been knocked out this long. Or I've never witnessed it in our experience of 2 years. So I'm curious to see how you feel just amongst all these big radical transformations. What was it like for you?
Knocked down like this was 7 years ago, December, before I died. Hardcore knockdown, Michael. And thank you for asking that. I feel like coming back I feel like that airplane getting sick like that, it felt like a death. It felt awful, like my stomach turning like that. And I'm feeling so helpless. And all I knew in that moment, all I was throwing up like that and just so sick. All I knew, I just felt like my entire system was diluted. I just needed to be cleansed, purified again. And all I could feel was like, I'm almost home. I'm almost home. Just this thing of being home. But I felt so grateful. And I feel being so sick like that, like on a, we will look at it that way, yet recognizing what I'm going through. There was a lot that was going through, because I really wanted to be with my kids. I'd missed them so much, and not to be able to see my kids, and being in the situation coming back that they had just moved and I didn't have the opportunity to go there, and yet dealing with those issues with someone who's so not open and controlling, and I felt that really hit me between my mother. I just felt I got so knocked down. And
did you notice when going through the week, were you a bit surprised? And it was one phase, the food poisoning, that took 2 days, but then there was a small rebound. But then afterwards, when you went into
Sunday,
all the other symptoms, were you a bit surprised of just where you were in the sense of your recovery time and where you were? Because it was
I feel like I felt very. What I felt was, I felt like everything crushed down on me from before that, from even before we went, before all the changes, and from your dad, from everything that
it was like a built up.
It was a built up of everything, and on top of it, and I felt the amount of responsibility just hit me so hard, and I felt like I just that total surrender. I just don't have the energy, and I need to be taken care of. So it felt so beautiful to have you really like just take care of me. And for me, there was no other question that I just didn't have the energy. And I feel the worst of it was the fever, but having you be so compassionate, so loving, and I didn't know whether it would just be one day you fall apart yourself, 2 days you fall apart, 3 days you fall apart, but for you to stay there, I feel something in you recognize like it's just time. Like I really need this part for me to come back, and so it was amazing. I feel we both went through quite a bit of transfer. I went physically and interdimensionally, and you along with it.
I'm
you totally right along with it,
and I felt very grateful in the experience, because I remember coming back and just really feeling, not only just through the representation through the goddess gathering, but really knowing that this is the time of the the masculine
that
energy.
really helped. That was like something like I'm called to this, and for me to fall, it was like I fell and you like picked me up. You're like, okay, I'm doing this.
And on the plane ride home, I remember just sitting and just being, reminding of myself of like, okay, and of course my mind, but also my heart of feeling, how and what, which the mind is obviously thinking, what ways I can really become even stronger in my masculine divine and really feel that. And so I, would have gathering talks with my guides and my meditations. And I know that I really felt grateful for myself just to watch and see, but to be honored to take care of you, to be honored, and to really feel not a sense of any type of remorse, resentment, victimhood on your part. It felt like, whatever I had to do to rise to the equation, to rise to the situation, whatever was need to be done had to be like placed up, whether if I had to sleep in the room for 2 weeks, if I had to just recognize that even if I had some weird inflammation in my eye, just to keep going and to really look beyond everything and say, what can I do for my beloved? How can I stand as tall as possible? Not even as an expectation, but just as an automatic. It's like, when I can imagine what a mother would do for a child, I feel as a beloved would what they would want to do, because there was really no question. It was like whatever was needed. Okay, let's go here. Okay, let's do that.
And
let's
you
shift
really
this.
did.
Yeah.
You really did. And I feel like that was the thing. That was my heartfelt gratitude to really, what's it like to really feel, because we talk about it, but what's it like to really feel love, to really feel supported, to feel like really cared for. And I feel that, what really took place was a lot of everything from me being a child was brought up. So, it can also wash a lot of the pain and the grief can be washed away. And I feel it's just so past, and I feel there's a space you and I are sharing that we haven't experienced before, as our 2 years anniversary is coming up on the 16th of November when we met. And I feel like really it took full almost 2 years for us to be in this space, truly in this space. Can't you, like, it's a new space for us too, isn't it?
I feel a very, it's beyond words. I'm trying to feel. I feel this new energy that's within us, because I'll be honest. When I met you, I know I wasn't ready, and I know many times my ego is like, "Well, I'm just getting back to the States," and I know there was just a lot of catching up with just seeing where I was in life, and then just being, cool, the many directions with my father and just the acclamation of life. But this time period right now, I just felt this love getting stronger, 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 and stronger. And this ability to, I feel as you surrendered, then that allowed me just to really go as strong, supportive, loving, compassionate, the strengths that I have, and to shine them. And then even look at what, I really want to create the messages, is that beautiful, just to keep creating that positive energy for you. Because many of us, when we get sick or when we feel imbalanced, our mind wants to go to that fear of like, uh-oh, is it pneumonia? Uh-oh, do I have a thyroid issue? Okay, do I need to go to a Western doctor? And just to keep supporting you and remind you of, we know sickness is just a transformation. We know something bigger is coming through.
We really did examine those areas of, should I go to the hospital and all of that. And yet I felt that, like, I knew as tough as it was, as really difficult it was, I felt the daily healing, the daily massage, the daily acupuncture, the daily shamanic clearing, all of these, there's so much bigger in this. And also for me, those are all part of, like, what's it like for you to have rolled your sleeve up. And for me, like, I just don't have it. Like here, like, it is a surrender space, and here, do your part. And so I feel there was this beautiful dance that was created, and here we are on this side of it, and then starting it with a jolt of fireball electricity, literally electric shock in the system. And I do feel it is a reset for this month. It is a mastery year within a mastery month. Today, the relations, it is the two, the balancing of the inner two, and so it represents that. So there's that centerness, which is the oneness energy. So I'm very grateful. I'm grateful that we get to start this, and we get to start this thing that is about really just having tea and taking a time. And we're taking it a little bit longer today to talk about this. And what is it that we're really communicating? What is it that we're really bringing forth? Because we want to be able to address questions. I have so many messages on my inbox that I haven't been able to get to, emails and this and that. Yesterday was the first day that I got to actually send the email reminders for this Sunday's Sacred Sunday Spiritual Circle, which we're so excited to have Maria from the Course Chef as our guest speaker. And also the one for the 1111 Stargate, for the Channeling the Masters. I mean, I just haven't had energy. There's so many, haven't been able to so slowly address the question. I really wanted this platform to be where it's just us, just exactly as we are, as we talk, how we are here, share this and have tea, and really, really feel that space in which we know is so true and core to us. That space where we know we know we've tapped into a formula. And we know this formula is truly the power of God's love inside of us. But how do we really communicate that, Michael? How do we really display it or bring it forth, which is received and captured?
I think it's a great question. What comes to my heart first is just to be as real and raw as possible, to really share, what's happening not only in our lives, what's happening on a collective, what's happening within all of our friends, what's happening around the world, because we're sharing a lot from our perspective, but we also, as this grows, want to hear from the audience what's going out there, because we do know during this week, as you've been affected, there's been a lot happening to many people. And what you said is, I find by that experience of when we are going through these moments, to share what moments are giving you that support, who's coming through, how does that feel to be touched by that presence so that people can feel, they can see, they can actually relate to that experience. Because one thing that I saw this week was in the massive healings that were done, it was so powerful to see what came through in the dragon energy. It was so powerful to see that as energies and pollutions were being cleared, really to
from my lungs,
from your lungs, really to recognize deeper what was happening, and then to feel the presence of the angels, to feel the presence of the energy, and know that we're constantly supported, we're constantly loved, because I feel that's one of the biggest things we're all working on is self-love. How do we feel loved? How we feel valued? How we feel appreciated? And we know that even coming from the Day of the Dead these past couple of days in the Mexican tradition.
Oh, by the way, that's the altar set there. We're finishing up that altar today.
How the spirit world supports us so big, so how we can support them, and in your time of health, how they really support us, and how you come forward and share that experience. Because I feel
this is so important. What you just touched, Michael, is very important that I want to share. When Michael was, on Friday and Saturday, when Michael was facilitating healing at ChristConsciousness in Woodbridge, that Saturday was the ultimate worst day with me, where I talked to Mariam on the phone, talked to Michelle on the phone, and I really feel that was the darkest of the darkest in terms of the most pain in my body, the most everything at the ultimate, Michael. And what you said is really important, because even you've been here, but ultimately, whatever you do, I still have to go through it. Whatever you do, you still have to go through it, right? We still have to go through it individually. We can be with each other, hold each other's hand, but there is this tunnel that we have to go through and to be on the other side of it. And that's what was initially with Archangel Michael that came. He said, through the passage of pain, you'll be on the other side, because what awaits is love. But we have to go through it. Nobody can do it for us. And I feel like that Saturday night, when I felt so alone in physical, you weren't there to help with the severity of the pain from the fever and my body ache, and just it seems like just nothing was working anymore. When I just hollered and cried, reached out, and that's that place when we reach out in surrender and ask for the higher help. That's when they really come in, because otherwise we're blocking that true space of receiving the help. They're always here to help us, but the help can't be done from the mental plane or even the emotional plane. It has to be done through the physical, through the heart. The actual heart is the gateway in there. We receive everything and experience all of it. So ultimately, we have to go through it ourselves.
And I find what's so beautiful about that for many to feel and share is, you were in that day. I kind of, as you spoke about it, it felt like the dark night of the soul because you were by yourself. Even that morning, I was like, well, do I go off and do a day of healing? Do I stay? And my eye was pulsating a little. And I just felt that everything was moving forward. But to really, for you to have that trust, not only within yourself, but the trust in the divine to say, okay, I'm here. I'm having a burning temperature. All this is working through. I would feel that most people would either have an anxiety attack, a panic attack. They would call upon someone, but just for you to trust, for you to go within, to call upon what you need to do and have the courage and strength was really beautiful to see. I mean, it was really powerful to come back and know that you already went to bed. You already took care of everything. You put a nice little flower on top of my little pajamas and had the ability just to really tap into your own strength, your courage, and your ability to say, I really saw that you went through this week with a great amount of perseverance of knowing that it was like
I felt like I really felt I was a warrior this week of facing every single, all of it, this past 2.5 weeks, facing it all, not masking it, everyone, and just slowly every single one go through it. So moving forward, being on this side, so many times we face things, but here we are, even in a moment like this, like I never feel like I'm not loved. Even when that happens, even this, I knew I'm so loved that I'm going through this. I feel that's the if that can be a space in which you can give yourself permission to feel that even what appears to be the worst of the worst, for example, for me, like spark of shock, light, like I'm electrocuted, I don't feel for a second that life is against me or universe or force are against me or that was an energy attack or anything like that. That just doesn't even appear in my consciousness. In contrary, I really feel I'm in awe and wow of how loved I am, that something is appearing before me, even though physically it's distressful, stressful, but I know with every part of my being, it's for my highest good. I just don't know in that moment what that good is. I just can't see it because there is like a cloud over me, but I know there's a sun that is here to give me something so incredible as soon as I pass through it. And I really feel that's what gives me the strength to move through not just this, but extreme difficult moments. So
and you did it so well.
Yeah. I thought I was very lady about it.
You did it very well because you focused the attention of what you wanted to create, and even the moments where if there was a slight amount of fear of like just to keep scooting along and saying, how can we keep giving attention to the positive nature of what's happening? Keep role playing in a way that says, okay, what's positive? What's growing? It's getting better. We're moving forward, and just keep backing in a way where we just look through what's happening
and not for a second, a moment, victim, Michael. Not at all. I feel you saw that. Not at all.
Or drop into fear.
Or drop into fear. No.
Bigger. So it was.
They were there. I didn't deny them. I faced them. But there was a concern whether it's pneumonia. There was actually a legitimate concern. But anyway, so now here we are. Here we are on this Friday. Well, how are you, Michael? How just how are you in this moment?
Well, this moment I'm extremely happy. Okay. I'm excited to see you where you have climbed from 2 weeks ago. But really, I'm really, after watching, to take a little switch, Merlin all week and just see the magic of what's been building, which I know you're going to love, Miriam, in this beautiful Sunday gathering, is just to feel the magic of what we have gone through, and that I feel like it was like
there is a magic.
There was a magic we went through because I feel like it was a very big test to come back and to know that as we integrate, there's this feeling of like just like there's a feeling of completion that's really.
I feel doesn't it feel like we were put through so many tests? And I feel it's been like Ascension tests, just as Mary Magdalene said, one after another. And it feels like, I don't know, like a little bit like patting on each other's back. Like, wow, like we really made it. I don't know what we made. Well, we made it through, I don't know what.
And what I love most about like reflecting upon it is just saying through all of like the nights where you woke up and you were coughing, that every morning we came back to love. And I feel that love has expanded so deeply that sometimes, you even remind me that if we're tired, if we're feeling horrible, that you could still feel love. You could still tap into that because, of course, when we're irritable and we're angry, and I'm coming back from a day of full clients and I just don't want to, but there's always that room, no matter how snuffly, no matter how coffee, no matter how boogery, whatever, gas, whatever, belching, we can always come back to love and to really sit with that and be like, wow, that is the antidote to all. And to now look at all of that and be like, I feel this. I feel
there's a space between us that really grew. And I feel it's a space that I haven't personally experience it at this level, whatever this level is. I feel this is a new territory that we have tapped into.
And I guess one of the biggest things I feel really grateful that you surrendered. That you surrendered in a way that allowed me to just thrive at something I'm naturally good at, but just feel that love of
you're freaking amazing at it. I didn't surrender. I had no freaking choice. I had no choice.
I know you had no choice.
I was like on my knees, like on the floor. I had no choice.
It felt that there was a surrendering because you had to rest.
I felt horrible. So, I couldn't even, my stubbornness couldn't even do it.
That's what I loved about it, because there was no stubbornness.
Nothing.
There was nothing. It was like, well, maybe I should thank the universe. Maybe I should thank the gods and angels that there was a complete surrender.
Yeah.
And in that complete surrender, it was just this opportunity, not to be like, oh, I'm going to step up, I'm going to prove, but just this feeling of expressing love, expressing that energy to come forward. And now looking at it, it's like it really felt. I really felt this masculine divine presence just grow and expand.
Sacred divine feminine is what really was, to be multitasking, to take care of a whole bunch, to be able to be on top of all of it. That's a very mother energy. I feel, with all the respect, you really tap into the divine mother energy, and that's that power, that Isis energy you felt.
Right.
That's that divine mother of a creation, what it's capable of. Doesn't matter you haven't slept, doesn't matter. None of it matters. Sure. You have infinite energy to take care of it.
Well, I felt like it was both mother and father energy.
Yeah, I thought you were my mother and my father. I thought you were my mother and my father, my brother, my uncle, my like all of it. You became all of it.
Yeah, it was like masculine, feminine. It's like, well, we're not going to give you just the feminine or masculine. We'll give you both and see what happens. And it felt really beautiful to be given that in a surprise, because I've never seen you not recover as quickly.
Yeah, I know. That's what's interesting, and again, I'm still going through it, and I'm taking it easy, So,
but even to a higher level, I feel that in this expansion, it's open up a door when we look at what's ahead of us.
Yeah.
When we look at the just expansion of all of the abundance that's already here, to connect with our friends in the beautiful ceremonies are coming forth, to look forward in just excitement and joy of how much creativity there's ahead of us, how much joy there is to really, what I look forward to is just seeing the loved ones, which we haven't seen in a while. And so as we're like recovering, expanding, there's this outer vibration that I feel, as you said this morning, we're riding this wave. And as we're riding this wave, I feel like we're getting support from the divine. Our love is rising.
Yeah, I feel like this wave when we talk about, and I feel the multiple things that are happening, Michael. It's very important what you just talked about. One part is us on a personal level, so personal, so deep, what we experienced, right? But interesting enough, like I talked about in the live stream yesterday, is on a planetary level, several of the individuals that we know who are part of the front line of Ascension going through this, also getting thrown just so that they can be in this new code vibration energies. I mean, we have been working so diligently with Magdalene and Yeshua codes. So one part is to feel them, to find the rose line, dragon line, anchor mirror. The other part of it is in the everyday living experience, applying being the codes, as Mary Magdalene came through, spoke on Saturday night, and she said to me, you're inside the living codes, the living Christed Magdalene codes. We are becoming the codes of light through the codons, right? Our DNA is upgraded. Everything is expanded. Our geometric form is changing. Like I asked you, what is your geometric pattern now? Like I've seen mine has shifted. But that's, I feel like on a planetary level, many have shifted. So we can we can really radiate these divine codes of light easily and freely, and wherever in us, whether it's from this lifetime and all lifetimes, that's blocking the way in which codons of the ray of light through the heart and mind of God is coming through us, so that it can radiate outward. And if the light is bending, as they have said, it's going to bring an opportunity so that it cleanses out of our emotional body, because it has to come to into our physical vessel. So our physical vessel is the medium. That's our ultimate mediumship, is the medium in which this presence that we already are, we don't have to create it, we don't have to develop it, we already are in the becoming, the realized state of it. It radiates, it just does it already, and there's nothing. And I feel, just 1 second, I feel that's on this planetary level, and that's why we're going through this massive purging, purification. And nothing is new to me, Michael, because this has happened several times. When there's some of the big ones, I've gone through it. Some of us, like me, Valerie, Stellar, there's several of us are going through it first, and then about a month or two, the other ones are coming, because it comes through us. Then we're able to hold the frequency in our vessel so that it starts to radiate outward. And I feel this is why we're starting this, because this frequency goes outward. We're doing it with our SSSS that goes outward, because constantly we have to create environments and settings or ways in which this frequency just wants to move through. And it is, I really feel it's God's love. Like, remember yesterday I woke up, I was like, wow, Michael, wow, this is like God is breathing through me. Like divine's love is in my cells, like the awe and the wonderment of this borrowed temporary in time and space existence is living, breathing through. And it's like the reverence, it's being revered. We do go get, for example, our reverendship. We take a course, whatever we can, but that's not being reverent. Reverence when it's become revered. I feel that's that space in me. In 7 years ago, I experienced that reverence being on the other side, and now in this side, in this form, going through this, I am in reverence of what's been revered from this actualized, realized essence. I feel the sacred flames in me. I feel and see the purification flame in my vessel. I am aware through that in which becomes illuminated from the inside outward what has become, in which I can create that sort of like spectrum in which it can communicate through. So I'm really looking forward to this, because when we tap, this is a frequency, and this frequency is like a current inside the oceans, as we talked about. And once we enter this frequency, it's forever flowing. It just carries us, and everything is also in it, but we can't teach it. It has to be a direct experience. Because within that direct experience, those who've been touched by its frequency, they also have access to the same.
And I feel how powerful it is in the beingness, in the experience of the actualization of it. Because I feel the simplicity of knowing it is sometimes the trap of us actually being it, because the mind can really take on this level of like, well, I know these Magdalene codes, I know these Yeshua codes, I know all these principles, but as we share this week to week, how are we practicing? How are we living this by example? How is this coming through our direct experience? Because obviously it's the direct test, it's the direct challenge. I mean, what I saw this week, which I was very impressed with, is not only were you going through all of these, but there were big triggers from family. If not every single close being that came through you. And then when you said, Mary Magdalene came through and says, well, now, how are you living that? How are you being it? And I find that for all of us,
I feel like I had doesn't it seem like I had like a PhD final exam? Well, seriously, it feels that way because it was all of that, and then my children and my mother and like all that.
I mean, child, teenager, everything, every piece, and that's what I. It's interesting because a lot of times when even we see outwardly on posts or many people are looking to see how they can. Even the other day where I kind of like confessed I'm a little stuck right now because I felt a little. Where I wanted to rise a little higher where I'm at right now. And I had a talk with my ego, the other day of thinking, it's not really what we need to do to become it. It's actually how are we being it from each moment that life is experiencing the opportunity to serve through it.
Right.
And in each moment, we have that time to feel the love, to be the love, to share the love, but really watch our reactions, because our reaction is really the test of how much we're moving.
Well, the reaction, the response is the key, isn't it? Because like, the reaction is where it is, or the response, the observer versus.
I saw a post that said, how strong do you think you are? Well, watch how many triggers you have each day. Because our reaction response really gives us the opportunity to see how well we're doing. And so I find your response this week was very beautiful.
I give myself a pat in the back. I do. No, I do. I feel I do that, recognition of that. And so here we're starting with this. And I feel today took a little bit longer because we're coming off from what we've come off and what we're starting into. So let me shift the topic for a second now from here to I feel that goes right around with this, Michael, because what is so important from here forward is that my big announcement that I've known this for a while, this has been coming up for a while, that I'm officially retiring from working with stargates and portals on a planetary level. I've known this for a while. I wanted to end this about 2 years ago, and I was waiting for my divine partner to come, and Michael came, and it took a bit longer because Michael had to be ready, and so I can be put in the position where I am for the next phase. So very much excited for that. And this next Sunday, the 11/11 Stargate, that's the last official working with. That is, I've served this for a number of years, and I feel now that time has come. When you feel that time has come for the next level, you have to be willing to let it go. And I really feel that really that responsibility on the planetary level that I've taken on for these past 6.5 years, almost 7 years. January, 7 years. So detailed, so much, so extreme, dedicating my life, giving up everything to serve it. It feels so nice to have a bit of my own life back. Still of service, but differently. And that space between us and the creative energy of the gosh, like the art that I'm asked to create now, and just a little bit more of that relaxation. I'm really looking forward to that. So I finished that this month, and I feel it's very significant because it is the Mastery Month, and we get to do it right here in a very private setting, which I couldn't be more grateful. And what I see after this coming up, Michael, is for us to really dedicate the rest of it for our book, the channeling the masters, the teaching of the channel. So the channeling will go on, channeling the masters, that I will do, but just no more gateways, no more portals, none of that. And just there's sounds that I need to be with, and it's more of me time now. And I'm so excited to just, it feels so amazing to have this inward space. And there's so many others that have stepped forward. They're working with the different grids. They can go plant all the crystals. Like, I'm moving to my retirement phase. It's so retirement on a galactic level, and because I'm preparing for Ascension, and it feels so amazing to just rest state that kicked it off with this, and having and still so many more will be coming. But the art is a huge one. There's 12 spectrums of the geometric pattern light codes that I have to create, and more of the new sound spectrums coming through, as we've seen with the dragons open up. We have to also see what they've said here. If you want to look at, I can't see it, obviously. Michael's become my eye because I can't quite read. Michael, you have to see in that. We would love to answer some of your questions, by the way. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Hello, Demetrius, and hello, Walking Doctor. I don't know who that is, but
that's okay. Look at all of us. See if there's anything. If there's any questions to be asked. So I feel that's my biggest announcement, Michael. And I'm really looking forward, as we talked about, for I've facilitated last several years New Year's Eve event, and last year we did the New Year's Eve through that midnight. And as our life is shifting through several things, we felt guided to do the New Year's Day 11 to 1, a very powerful experience for the setting of the tone of 2019 with the new realities in your experience through the visions and actual creation with the art of it. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. We're going to have such a great time with those who are coming. We'll announce that. I'll create the event post for it.
But something even more in front of us that I find is very beautiful ahead of us is I'm really excited to really take the time, and as we transcribe all of the channels that have come forward, sometimes we move so quickly at what's before us, but really what many people haven't seen, or what I've only recognized because of just as the conscious vessel of these channels, is when all of these channels are transcribed, and when we really feel the messages of what's coming through, it's going to be really powerful to see not only how it affects both of us, but how those that read it, that experience it, what it does. Because in this, what excites me is it's just constant ancient wisdom that's remembering, that's bringing a forth of remembrance.
So I feel like
what areas are coming forward. And so as they keep coming forward, as they keep being brought in nature so people can read that, it's awakening their own wisdom, their own essence inside. And some of it is so deep, so simple, and so beautiful that as it keeps coming, it's going to be, what I see is this just seam that's moving through each channel, that's connecting each one, and to really look at what I see. And I know that you don't look at it as sometimes, but like really look at the awe of who's coming through. Look at the power of what's happening, because I know you've been a little quiet, but like when Nikola Tesla, Martin Luther King, Council of Light, when these, Order of Melchizedek, when these unbelievable, incredible, powerful energies are moving through.
I mean, they're speaking through.
Yeah, speaking through you. This to me is like God's grace. This is like the Holy Grail that's coming through, because it's allowing such an opportunity to share it, but to connect the dots of what's happening. And
I think there's that connection. The dots is
unbelievable.
Important. And we will create. We've both felt to create a Facebook page dedicated to channeling the master's teaching, so we can just put each one that we transcribe, if we just put it there, so you can read literally, it's word to word, no editing, whichever master has directly spoken through my vessel, and it is incorporated. So when Michael has experienced it, or others in event they've experienced it, I'm in full incorporation. Like, for example, yesterday, my beautiful brother Phil of Tavo, where Michael is going to be tomorrow, Tavo Total Health, facilitating the Archangel Michael healing. Yesterday, he stepped forward. He said, honey, I want to work on you a little bit. And I usually don't let anybody work on me. It's either Michael or Darius. And I've had a couple of others, and because my sensitivity level is so high, and Phil's hands are extremely pure. So when he worked on me yesterday, like he saw my consciousness leave, and this Atlantean being with the blue robe came and started speaking in Atlantean language through me. And afterwards, he was on. So it was beautiful to have Michael and him talk, because he doesn't get a chance to experience that presence that speaks through, because somehow I have the ability for my consciousness personality leaving and the full presence taking over my body.
And what's powerful, which I think many people don't understand, is that when the channel comes through you, you don't physically remember what you're saying or what's being brought forward. You only see imagery. So, I
only experience everything imagery. Somehow I have no idea what's happening.
So that's why I get very excited, because already, honey, you have a very beautiful, intuitive, you see through many areas. But really, honey, in these past 2 years, there's still channels that haven't been brought forward that you've really read and saw, because there's been an overwhelming amount of channels.
Because for me, it's a little bit, honestly, it's still a bit strange.
I think you're getting used to it.
I'm more used to it after
and there's a vulnerability
years
of it. But what I find, even as your beloved, is to know this. Before, the channels were coming almost weekly. And I find even now the channels may have slowed down, because right now it's really to go back, because even when you look at Order Melchizedek, when you look at the wisdom, there's so much
because they want us to apply it. Right. And I feel some of it, like there's certain frequency has to take place in our system so that it can be applied. It can start, just like, for example, like when the Avalians made contact 3 months ago, so it takes a little while. And then the body goes through its triggering till it can start to hold the frequency. So then the interaction, all of that happens, or the wisdom starts to sink in and become body of knowledge. And there's a lot, but that's why I want us to create that page. We're so grateful. Kaveh already Mariam's husband took the picture for the cover of our book, and we're waiting for the proper person who's willing to join us to create the image as a graphic designer for the cover of our book, because the book is going to be free. So it has to be somebody who also wants to offer their service for free to us, so that we are all working together, opening the space up for everybody to benefit. This is a very important part of our call. The places that will help us do the book launch and the event, all of that has to be free, because it's a gift from all these beings, opening up the abundance energy in everyone by the power of giving. And we know the power of giving in that gratitude opens all the doors to everything. So that's why we're starting this. We started the SSSS 6 months ago, and there's more to come.
And just one last thing I find with just going back to the channeling is I do feel a completely agree with you. There's a certain vibration to receive. And at the same time, there's also a practice of sharing this, because I remember as an older Melchizedek came through twice to remind us that it's very important to start having gatherings and start sharing this, because, I mean, to me, I feel like this is like golden source, beautiful, priceless energy that's being displayed, yet it's kind of tucked away in a voice memo, not fully being transcribed and fully let out yet because of just the amount that's come forward. So once it's unleashed, I feel like not only does the vibration comes out, but then opens up so many more doors of teachings, workshops, how to expose it in a way that it allows the practice of meditation.
For everybody, it helps everybody, whatever their calling is, they just feel that support. And that's what I feel you and I are here. We're just here to genuinely help support you. And how can we support you? How can we really support you on a larger level? Like, stand behind you with what's standing with us, so that you can access that same support, because we need the support. We all need the support to go through this.
So speaking of support, just to connect before, because I know we have about 15 minutes left. Demetrius says, what are your insights about the 1111 gateway?
Well, the 1111 gateway, Demetrius, I feel, if anybody, you know this more, is the triple gateway. This one again is the triple gateway. We are just as it really began from yesterday with the frequency. It is the oneness coming in, all merging fields coming into the one, and allowing the 7 bodies coming into that one place, the mind, body, and soul in one place, in the oneness energy that it moves through. So that way, I feel it's just very much like the spark of the light I experienced today, being jolted by it. Jolted, coming back is the homecoming of that which we already are. And I feel this particular one is so key, because it is the tipping point of the ascended state, in form, in living, in not denying, in just the ultimate essence. Transformation. Well, it's the ultimate essence of the anchoring of it, the anchoring of that has to be anchored within this vessel. You can't do it outside of it. You can't deny the vessel part of it. You can't do it the mental plane. It must be done through the emotional. So I feel the 3 gates, when they open up, this particular stargate opens up the inner 7th gate. So there's more on that I'll talk about that. So we'll go in a lot more details on it. Let's see, Michael, who else has... Can you read that?
Yeah,
I can't read.
Such a blessing to spend the precious tea time with you. Love you.
Thank you so much.
Miriam's smiling. Her ego is naughty, and it's very important to repeat about not feeling like a victim. This is very important.
True.
It's very true.
Beautiful. So let's do this. I feel it's, as we start from the following week. It will be slightly different. We go through this. We really thank you for being patient as this kicking off, starting this was important to speak of where we're just coming from, and where we are, and where we're headed, and then we pick this up. But I really feel called, if I may, can we Michael just join? May I ask you to please place your hand in your hearts for a moment? So I really want to speak from this place inside as an offering of a prayer of this Friday, and for you to really embrace the power of prayer and how incredible it is, and what an amazing tool in a daily life it is. So if I may offer you, as you just breathe in nice and easily, and breathe out, just relaxing that space of breath. And that prayer, because the prayer has to come from your heart. It really has to come from the core of your heart, There's nothing that you deny from here. And often it is of a form of asking or an invocation. So I'd like to invite you to join me. So let me feel into the space as I breathe it in and I breathe it out. And breathe it out, empty yourself. One more. Dear Divine Grace, dear Holy Spirit, dear Primary Light that I am made from, that I come from and I return to. Dear grace of love that is in me, through me, in every particle of my being, my atom and neurotransmitters, my molecules and cells. I sit before you in this now, in this beautiful gift of breathing in the remembrance of that which I am, the I that is the am in its beingness, in its fullness, in its spectrum of pure grace, ebb and flow, non-resistance, and ever omnipresence. Let me feel the space of grace in me, opening up all fabrics of life within me that is holding me, that is covering, hovering, blinding the truth of which I am. The beauty and the reflection of the one that breathes through all life, that is also me. Let me feel through me the holiness and the life force that is here through its sacred flame, sacred fire, to transmute all impurities that I've ever encountered. Whether it's been this life, whether it's been all the other lives, I know in this now it's been of purpose and from a place of love that I may have never seen or didn't have access to fully receive. And I allow this love, this divine flow, to streamline through every part of me in this surrendered stillness, so that I open my heart to thee, so that thee breathes and lives in this vessel, and to shine its radiance so freely. I am the presence of the beloved in which who I have become each and every day in its full expression. And I will be the divine force, not just for myself, but all living organisms on earth. So together we remember the one heartbeat, the one that beats inside of us in that creative, incredible, unprecedented, infinite ways of expression. I breathe in this love that I know is me. And I bless myself and everyone on my path today in the same place of grace that beats through my essence. And so it is. Beloved, I am. Beloved, I am. Beloved, I am. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being. I love that space where I enter because the words just flow. There's nothing to think about. I just feel it. Could you feel it?
Very powerful. Thank you.
It feels so amazing.
Thank you, everyone, for this opportunity to join us on Friday, taking this time, taking this energy.
Thank you for being on tea time with us.
And sharing your just energy, your presence, and just your beauty. It's a blessing that we can share this moment with you.
Thank you for those of you who've been here making your comments. So grateful. This video would be available after this, so you may reshare it as you like, sharing the blessings forward. And join us next Friday. Have your questions, because we start going into the questions as of next week. We have questions for us personally, collectively, questions maybe from I don't know, maybe I'll tap into that, and maybe blessings coming in that we can share. And let us just meet, just middle of the day, a little hug, little love, little TLC from divine in our hearts. There's so much good to pass around in this world, and it feels amazing to sit in the space of sharing. So I love you very much. Thank you so much for just starting this off and the start of more giving, more sharing, more loving.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mariam. Thank you, Demetrius. Thank you so much. Let's see. I can't read.
Walk-in doctor.
Okay, thank you. Well, why you say it like that? Say it with power of love, Michael. Try to pronounce it.
Because my eyes are...
My eyes can't
my
see
eyes
at
are
all.
hard, but this is the beautiful getting older. Walk-in doctor.
Okay, thank you.
I'm saying it right. Sorry.
Thank you so much. So beautiful that we got to start this with you. We're so grateful for the comments. We're so grateful for the love and support. And it will be shorter. So it will be shorter next week, just 12 to 1. Today went a little bit over. So Power of 13, Master Year. Aho namaste in lakesh banura esh and house. Bye-bye. Yay.